gold. For thousands of years, this glittering metal has captured the imagination of kings, emperors, merchants, and miners. Wars have been fought over it. Empires have risen and fallen because of it. And even today, long after paper money and digital currencies have taken center stage, gold still holds a mysterious power. But have you ever stopped to ask, why is gold valuable at all? Who decides what it's worth? And perhaps most importantly, are there hidden forces behind closed doors that control its price? In this video, we're going to uncover the hidden story behind gold's value. From ancient civilizations that worshipped it, to modern central banks that hoard it, and even shadowy financial institutions accused of manipulating it, this is the untold story of gold's price. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand not just why gold is precious, but also the secret methods that influence its market. Methods that could impact your wealth, your savings, and even the global economy. Gold is not the rarest metal in the world. Platinum, palladium, and even rhodium are harder to find. But gold has something unique. It doesn't rust, it doesn't corrode, and it never fades. Civilizations from the Egyptians to the Chinese to the Mayans all discovered the same truth. Gold is eternal. A coin minted 2,000 years ago looks almost the same today as when it was struck. That permanence made gold more than just a metal. It became a symbol of divine power, immortality, and wealth. By the time Rome ruled the Mediterranean, gold had become the ultimate medium of exchange. Roman coins, such as the aureus, spread across continents. The gold standard of the ancient world was born. Fast forward centuries, and monarchs across Europe launched expeditions to the New World, not just for land or power, but for gold. Spanish galleons carried tons of it back across the Atlantic, fueling empires. But here's the key. Gold was not just valued because it was beautiful. It was valued because everyone agreed it had value. It became the foundation of money itself. For centuries, nations tied their currencies directly to gold. If you held a British pound or a US dollar, you could exchange it for a fixed amount of gold. This system created stability, but it also gave gold enormous power. In the 19th and early 20th centuries, the world operated under the gold standard. Every major currency was backed by gold reserves. That meant governments couldn't print unlimited money. They needed gold in their vaults to support every dollar, pound, or franc they issued. This system created global trust, but it also created problems. Wars, recessions, and crises strained governments that needed more money than they had gold. The most dramatic turning point came in 1971. US President Richard Nixon shocked the world by announcing that the US would no longer redeem dollars for gold. The Bretton Woods system collapsed. From that moment, the US dollar became a fiat currency, backed not by gold, but by trust in the government. So, if gold was no longer money, why does it still matter? Because even without backing currencies, gold retained its reputation as a safe haven. When economies shake, when inflation rises, when trust in governments falls, investors rush to gold. It is not just a commodity, it is a psychological anchor. But if its value is psychological, that opens the door to manipulation. Today, the price of gold is not set by miners or jewelers. It's determined in the financial markets. There are two main mechanisms: the London Bullion Market Association, also known as LBMA. This is where the London Gold Fix happens, a daily process where a handful of powerful banks decide the benchmark price of gold. The futures market, COMEX in New York. Here, traders buy and sell contracts for gold, often without ever touching a physical bar. This is where things get interesting. Critics argue that the futures market allows for enormous paper gold manipulation. For every ounce of physical gold in existence, There may be dozens of ounces traded on paper through contracts, options, and derivatives. In other words, the supply of paper gold is infinite, but the supply of physical gold is limited. That imbalance means prices can be suppressed or inflated without anyone ever moving an actual gold bar. Investigations have shown that major banks, including JP Chase, Deutsche Bank, and HSBC, have been accused or even fined for manipulating precious metal markets. Traders were caught sending fake orders to move prices up or down, profiting in the process. So, when you see gold prices rise or fall dramatically in a single day, it's not necessarily supply and demand. It may be the invisible hand of financial giants moving the market for profit. Let's talk about the hidden methods used to control gold's value. Central bank reserves. Central banks hold more than 35,000 tons of gold. By buying or selling, they can influence global markets. For example, when China or Russia announces they are stockpiling gold, it signals distrust of the US dollar, often driving prices up. Short selling in futures markets. Big players can flood the market with paper gold, driving down prices temporarily. This benefits them if they're protecting their currency or if they want to keep gold from looking too attractive compared to the dollar. Currency wars. Gold often moves opposite to the dollar. When governments want to maintain dollar dominance, suppressing gold prices indirectly supports trust in fiat money. Media and narrative control. Financial media often downplays gold, portraying it as an outdated relic. By shaping perception, they keep investors focused on stocks, bonds, or digital assets instead of gold. Some even argue that there is a coordinated effort, sometimes called the gold cartel, involving banks and governments working to keep gold prices from rising too high. Why? Because a soaring gold price signals weakness in fiat currencies and the global economy. As we move into an era of digital currencies, blockchain, and cashless transactions, does gold still matter? Absolutely. In fact, gold may matter more than ever. Inflation hedge. With governments printing trillions, gold remains a timeless hedge against devaluation. Digital gold. Even Bitcoin is called digital gold. Some investors see cryptocurrency as a rival, but others see it as complementary. In recent years, nations like Russia and China have accelerated their gold purchases, quietly building reserves as a way to challenge the dollar's dominance. At the same time, individuals worldwide are buying gold coins and bars at record levels. The future of gold will likely be a tug of war. Digital money versus physical gold, central banks versus free markets, manipulation versus true supply and demand. One thing is certain, gold is not going away. So, who sets the price of gold? Officially, it's the traders, the LBMA, and the futures markets. But behind the curtain, it's influenced by central banks, powerful financial institutions, and even political strategy. Gold's value is not just about rarity. It's about psychology, power, and control. The next time you see gold prices rising or falling, remember, it's not just about miners digging in the earth. It's about bankers in boardrooms, governments protecting currencies, and traders pushing numbers on a screen. Gold has outlasted empires, currencies, and revolutions, and it will outlast us too. Because gold is more than money, it is power, it is trust, it is the eternal metal.